Hello, I'd like to talk about a homework problem in section 3.1, and this is more about using the graphing tool. So notice we have here, we want to graph f of x equals 9 to the x power, and g of x equals 9 to the negative x power. So notice what it asks is that graph f and g in the same rectangular coordinate system. So we're going to be graphing both of these functions. Then find the point of intersection of the two graphs. So they want to know where these two graphs intersect each other. Now I'm going to do this without writing on the screen because I don't have that tool available when I have this pulled up. But here's what we need to know. We know what 9 to the x looks like. Okay, so if I come over here, I don't know if you can see my mouse sliding across, but 9 to the x is going to come up and then rise very, very quickly to the right. Whereas 9 to the negative x is a reflection through the y-axis. So it's going to reflect backwards back this way. And they're going to cross right here at the point 0, 1. That's where they're going to intersect each other. So we need to figure out how to use this graphing tool to graph both of these functions. So what I'm going to do is click to enlarge the graph. That's where we have to graph. Okay, and typically they give me a choice of tools right here to select to graph, but notice I only have the one tool, the exponential tool, and also they usually tell me how many points I need to graph this with this, but I'm not seeing that available. Now it says click the graph to plot your curve, so I know 1 point on the graph is right here, 0, 1, because 9 to the 0 gives me 1. So I'm going to plot that. Now another point would be if I plug in 1, 9 to the 1, so if I plug in x equals 1 right here, is going to give me 9. Notice it did that for me already. So if you check out this information down here, a vertical stretch or shrink would be if we multiply the exponential by something like 2 times 9 to the x would be a vertical stretch. Or 1/2 times 9 to the x would be a vertical shrink. So we're not doing any of that. Excuse me, please. We're not doing any horizontal stretching or shrinking. That's when we would multiply the x right here by 2 or by 1/2. 2 would be a horizontal shrink, whereas 1/2 would be a horizontal stretch. But they did give us the option of doing a vertical or horizontal shift. We're not doing either of those. That's when you add or subtract outside the exponential here, or add or subtract to the x value here. But they do give us the option to reflect over the x-axis and reflect over the y-axis. We know our next graph is going to reflect over the y-axis. Oh, it just switched for me. So I don't want to do that either. Let's get rid of that because I have to graph both functions, right? Now, notice this down at the very bottom is the base, okay? And so this base right here is selected for 9. You could slide it. Maybe it's not even giving us that option, but the base should be on 9. Oh, it just changed then. Do we slide it? Yeah, look at that. And it tells you 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we know our base is 9. It happened to already be on 9, which was helpful. But if it's not, you're going to have to put it on 9. Okay, so that's the first graph. That is 9 to the x. And again, check 2 points. So 0, 1. If we plug in 0, we get 1. If we plug in 1, we get 9. That's perfect. Now I want to graph 9 to the negative x. Okay, so I want to close this out. And I think I want to hit this again. And select, Okay, then I'm going to click here to do it. So 0, 1 is again on our graph. There it goes. Okay, now notice the yellow one landed right on top of the blue one, but because it's not right yet. Notice the base down here is still at 9. We could slide it to be sure. It's not telling me. I'm struggling a little bit with the tool. There we go. So now it's at 9 to the x, and it was before, but this time we reflected over the y-axis. So see how it popped up and it flipped? That might be what you're missing. You've got to reflect that over the y-axis because that's what that negative in the exponent does. It's a reflection in the y-axis. Okay, everything else is the same. We're not vertical stretch or shrink. We're not doing a horizontal or vertical shift. The only thing that's happened is this negative in front of the X, and I hope you can see this highlighted here. The negative in front of the X is what reflects it through the X-axis. I mean the Y-axis. I'm trying to confuse you now. And save. So that's what our graph should look like. I'm going to check my answer. Yay, we've got it. Click OK. And then it should ask the point of intersection. Again, this is where these two graphs cross each other. And using parentheses, that is the point 0, 1. And I'm going to check that result. And there we go. So hopefully that'll help you out using the graphing tool. If you run into other questions, please do let me know.